Hey guys, what is up? Hope everybody has been having a great day. Happy to be bringing you episode 12, part 1 of my golf vlog series. This time playing Stonewall Golf Club in Virginia. For more videos like this, please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And make sure to click that like button as it really helps me out. And with that being said, let's hop into it. So this was, I teed off about 7:15 in the morning here, so it was still really chilly. But this golf club was very, very tough. I believe the slope was something like 144 or 5, and the course rating was a shade over 74. So I definitely had my work cut out for me here. And you can see, didn't really get off to the best start in terms of the tee shot, and I had a little bit of a fairway bunker shot into the wind, and got a really good kick here. You guys can't really see it, but it landed on actually in the rough there, and it kicked way left and got out on the green and then spun back a little bit to the spot I'm putting from right there. So a little bit of a fortunate break to start off the round. So I'll definitely take that. Now I have probably about a 25 footer or so. So just trying to make a really confident stroke and just trust the line I put on it. Made a really good roll, and boom, off to a great start. Definitely have been working a lot on my putting. Been breaking out some of the old putting training aids I used to use a lot as a high school player and a college golfer, and they've definitely improved my stroke significantly. I find myself leaving a lot less putts on the green in terms of like strokes lost. So that's definitely been a significant help. And if I can start getting the rest of my game to cooperate, I think I can start really putting up some great scores. My goal is to shoot. I really do want to put out like a 65 or 6 in the next couple videos. I don't know if that's reasonable, but I do think it isn't out of the question, especially if I can get the rest of my game together. And you guys can probably see that's actually my dad right there. He was able to come out for this round, so it was nice to have him around and kind of hang out with him while I was on the course. So you can see there, kind of left my shot a little short there. Kind of had a little bit of trouble getting a depth perception through the shade. I'm sure you guys sometimes when you're playing, when you hit through shadows, it kind of throws off how far the shot appears in your head. Even if you do have the right yardage on your rangefinder, it can sometimes mess with your swing a little bit. Made a pretty good stroke here, just wasn't able to put it all together in terms of getting the right line and being able to figure out exactly where that ball was going to break. So a little bit of a disappointing par there, but this is my first time playing this track, so don't have all that much knowledge on the course. I was able to use this app I use called 18 Birdies, and they have a great little GPS thing, so I was able to kind of plan out my strategy of attack. So I did have a pretty good idea of the sight lines I wanted to take and all that. And you can see there, we had a pretty significant tailwind on that tee shot, and this ball rolled out over 400 yards. It landed on a downslope. I cut the corner a bit, and it just carried back onto the fairway and landed on the downslope and ran like probably 60 yards. So an absolutely awesome position here on this par 5, just hitting a flip wedge in. And this was right on top of the pin, and it flew about 3 yards too far. I was pretty shocked at how that managed to carry as far as it did, even with that wind. You can see it landed maybe 10 feet over the pin, but because of how downwind it wasn't able to quite hold up a bit the way it needed to. If that would have been about maybe a yard shorter, it would have had the second bounce still on the green, and it would have grabbed and spun back a little bit, but still not too bad of a shot. The difficulty on that putt was I was on the edge of the fringe, so the fringe where the grass is really short, and then obviously the rough was taller, and so with being against the top of that rough, I couldn't really get the putter blade on it the way I wanted to, and caught it a bit thin. Sometimes you might want to actually use a wedge and blade it so the leading edge is consistently delivered to the ball. So now I got myself about 6-7 feet left. Pretty good feel for the break because I did study the putt at length on the first putt and was able to curl it in, which was nice. So still managed to make a 4 there. Already 2 under in the round, so great start, especially given the wind and the conditions. And here, this is a pretty intimidating tee shot. I wish you guys could have been here because it was so windy on this shot. This ball was probably in the air for almost 8.5 seconds. And you can see how short that landed there in the shot tracer. I was shocked. Like, you can tell, I thought this was going to be in the right center of the green, and it was probably 30 yards short. So that was kind of a shocker to me. But there was some incredible wind up there, because I know it's hard to see here, but there's a huge body of water to the left of this hole, like maybe several square miles. And so I think that kind of uninterrupted real estate has allowed the wind to really whip through. So you can see how it's really taking that ball there. And this was a significant break too, so I should have studied this a little bit more. So that's kind of my fault. I should have played it a little bit higher. But I actually was pretty happy with this chip, because it was definitely a tough lie I had there. So I was able to get it all the way back and still have a decent look at par. So just trying to make another good stroke. And slight push, but that's more of a bit of a misread. But I'm just happy to be giving these putts a chance. I'm looking at my putting stroke, and I can definitely tell it has progressed a little bit since the beginning of these vlogs. And you can see on the very, very left there, that little blue gap on the far left, you can kind of see that lake. So it was definitely whipping. And this one was not a very far carry, even though I hit it pretty good. You can see it was a 325-yard carry on 140 club speed, so not the best conditions for a distance. But I actually did take a very significant break from playing any form of golf when I started long drive. So from pretty much late 2017 to mid-2019, which would be last year, I basically didn't play golf unless I had to for like a pro-am. And so when I got back to playing golf earlier this year, it was a very rough transition. And so I'm using this golf vlog series as an opportunity to improve my overall game, and it's definitely been very enjoyable. And I have noticed a trend in a positive direction with regards to my golf game, so that's very exciting. And I'm really enjoying the game a lot more, so that's a really great bonus. So hit a pretty good shot in here, done well to give myself this left for birdie, and had a good read on this. Just was a little too firm, and probably just trying to force it a little bit too much instead of just trying to put it out high and let it curl into the hole. So kind of a disappointing four, but as windy as it was on this hole, I really wasn't too upset with that. And I'm very pumped to still be under par right now, because the wind I was facing, as you guys know, I'm not very good with the wind, so I've been doing very well so far, in my opinion at least. And here I hit a bit of a heel cut, got away with it there. Really wasn't a good swing, but luckily the gear effect on the driver brought it back into the fairway, so very good position to attack here. You can probably see the pin way out in the distance. So 238 the 4-iron here. There's still a lot of wind up there, so I'm actually kind of trying to knock a little bit off of this 4-iron and flight it a bit, because this is probably 20 yards less than I normally would hit it. And you can see why I try not to do that a lot, because what happens for me when I try to swing a little bit slower and knock off speed and in turn knock off spin, my sequencing and my timing's way off. And when you swing the speed I swing at, you really need to rely on timing, and your internal clock kind of has kind of an expectation of when the club's supposed to arrive to the ball. So when you swing slower to flight it, it just doesn't work, and you can have trouble timing it. So that's been a priority of mine for a while now, trying to get better at hitting those flighted shots, because I really do want to become a good wind player. I don't know if that's possible for me, but I'm definitely going to try. So definitely had a bit of a turn for the worse over the last 5-6 minutes or so, and you can see my hair is starting to get in the way of my eyesight over the putt, so I'm trying to keep it out of my eyes with the wind and everything. So I got probably about 15 feet, 20 feet left here, and it's a very slippery putt too. Just trying to make a smooth roll. At first I thought this had a chance to go in, but it stayed pretty high, and yeah, kind of let myself a little bit left, and so I just knocked it in. That was a very rough 6, to say the least. It's definitely not a good thing for me when I bogey par 5s, because a huge part of my strategy, if I want to shoot a good score in the 60s, is I need to be 3, 4, 5 under on the par 5s, and so that definitely wasn't any good. And so here, another pretty tough looking par 3. And this I was actually pretty proud of. I successfully flighted this really well and played it left and cut it in. and it flew over the pin. And I was getting pretty frustrated at this point because I thought this shot was absolutely right on the money, and it carried probably 5-6 yards too far. But definitely going to take the positive from that, which is I finally hit a good shot into the wind. So definitely going to build off of that in the future, and was able to. The wind actually made this shot really easy. I was able to have a bit of a backstop with that wind, so now I have about 5 feet left for par, and just really starting to feel good over these putts. I think this new putter has definitely been good for me. It sets up well for my eyes, and I don't know, I just feel much more comfortable over the ball, feel like I'm making a good roll, and yeah, another great putt. And I'm kind of studying how the stroke looks on this playback too, and it looks like they're good strokes. It does not look like I'm pulling it or pushing it and compensating or anything, so hopefully I can keep building on that. And now another really good shot here down the middle. About 320 yards of carry, 1,600 spin, so pretty good launch there. And got about 67 yards left, and really feeling good about getting shot back here. So I figured I'd put a camera at behind the pin, show the ball coming in. So just trying to get a good feel for this wedge shot. And if I ever do take a lot of extra practice shots, it will be when I have less than 100% full in, because I want to really get a good feel. And this is kind of a fail because I hit it over the camera. So yeah, you'll see very shortly where that ended up. So you can see it landed where it landed and where it ended up. So flew probably about 30 feet over the pin. So definitely not very good touch there. And probably got about 25-30 feet left, maybe a little more than that. Bit of a slippery downhill putt too. So just trying to make a good stroke, get a good feel for it. And also, if I ever I'll take extra practice strokes on longer lag putts too, because I'm really trying to ingrain the feel of the putt and how hard I feel like I need to hit it. So put it up a bit high, and yeah, didn't quite take into account how fast that putt was coming down the hill, unfortunately. So I got looks like about 8 or 9 feet up the hill, trying to save my par. So once again, got myself in a pretty good position off the tee, just not doing very well from that point in. So just trying to make a good stroke. Another pretty good stroke, just poor read. So that's kind of what I took from that. My mistake there is I didn't pay attention enough to the ball rolling past the hole to give me kind of a free read. And I know I haven't said it yet, so I'll say it here. Sound up. And speaking of sound up, the process of those t-shirts being made and is definitely in the works. And let me know if there's any other kinds of merchandise you guys want, like mugs, hats. I don't know. I'm extremely new to the merchandise game, but I definitely want to give you guys whatever you want. So leave in the comments below if there's any types of merchandise you want besides t-shirts. Obviously I'll definitely be working on those. If there's any other kinds of merchandise, I'm definitely up for making those available to you guys. So pulled that driver a little bit left into the rough, kind of got a bit of a blind shot. Did a pretty good job of keeping this shot under control. I had a bit of a flyer lie, a bit downwind, so kept it under the pin. Played a nice little conservative shot there. Got about probably 20-25 feet here to try to get in at even par on the turn. So I can be a little bit aggressive here. Pulled this one a bit, but it was such a big misread, it didn't really matter. So I will knock that in for my even par, 1 over par 37. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.